Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Ever been way out there? Maybe on a super yacht or a remote work site, or even just deep in the wilderness wishing you had decent internet, lightning fast internet. Well, today we're exploring something that promises exactly that and actually delivers. It's more than just handy. It's really breaking down barriers.
It really is. Our mission today essentially is to unpack the Starlink Performance Gen 3 system. That's SpaceX's latest rugged satellite setup. And we want to go beyond just the specs, We want to show you why this isn't just a minor update. It's genuinely a game changer for anyone who absolutely needs high-speed connection, no matter how remote or, frankly, how much they're moving around.
Right. So we'll look at what makes this high-performance system tick, how it's built to handle, well, pretty much anything. And we've got some amazing real-world examples, too. So let's jump right in and get you up to speed on the future of mobile internet. Okay, we've talked about this revolutionary idea, but let's get down to it. What is the Starlink Performance Gen 3, and what makes it truly high performance beyond just being the newest model?
Okay, so fundamentally, it's SpaceX's toughest satellite internet system so far. Built specifically for, let's say, demanding users. It uses this flat, electronically steered, phased array antenna. Now that sounds technical, I know, but think of it like a smart antenna. It doesn't physically move to find satellites, it steers the signal digitally. That's exactly why it can hold such a strong connection, even if you're, say, speeding across the water. And that high-performance label, it's not just slick marketing, believe me. We're talking consistent download speeds, often hitting over 400 millibps, sometimes peaking way up at 475 millibps. With uploads hitting 75 millibps. Think about what that means. Maybe for a research ship out at sea. That's not just fast internet. It means real-time telehealth calls with specialists back on land, or uploading huge chunks of data from the middle of nowhere. Things you just couldn't do reliably before. Honestly, it makes a lot of traditional home internet look a bit slow, especially for mobile needs. And the latency is super low.
Wow, okay. So not just fast, but responsive enough for things like video calls, remote work, critical stuff. What about the physical build? How tough is this thing, considering where it's meant to be used?
Oh, it's built like a tank.
Yeah.
Environment hardened is the term. The antenna itself is IP69K and IP68 rated. The power supply is also IP68. Now, these aren't just random letters and numbers. IP69K means it can handle high-pressure, high-temperature water jets. Think industrial cleaning or, serious sea spray. And IP68 means it's totally dust-tight and can sit underwater for extended periods. So yeah, it's ready for pretty much anything. Huge storms, salt, snow, extreme heat, high winds, you name it. Plus, it's designed for 247 operation, has proper enterprise mounting options, a solid 3-year warranty, and they expect it to last 10 years. It's built seriously.
Speed, toughness, check. But for anyone moving yacht, EAO, RV, whatever the big headache is, keeping that connection while moving. I remember trying to stream on a road trip once. Hopeless. How does this flat design really change things for mobile users?
Yeah, that flat, low-profile design, that's a huge innovation here. It cuts way down on wind drag compared to a regular dish. And like we said, because it steers the beam electronically, it doesn't need to physically re-aim itself all the time. So the whole system is basically engineered from the start to stay locked onto satellites while you're on the move. We've seen reports, real-world tests, holding full connectivity on yachts doing over 22 knots.
22 knots, that's impressive.
It really is. And it also has this wide 140-degree field of view that's much better than older models. And it's crucial for keeping that connection solid when you're turning or changing direction quickly. So it makes it just perfect for installing on, well, yachts, big trailers, RVs, commercial trucks, keeping you connected pretty much wherever you roam.
Okay, for the adventurers listening or folks working in really harsh conditions, just how much punishment can this thing take? Let's talk extremes.
Right, the extremes. Well, the Starlink High Performance Gen 3 kit is definitely built for them. It actually has this tailored heating element for belting snow. It can handle about 3.5 inches per hour, so heavy snowfall that might knock out other systems. This one keeps working. And wind resistance. It's rated for winds over 174 miles per hour. That's 280 kilometers per hour.
Whoa, 174 mile per hour. That's hurricane territory.
Exactly. It's designed to stay put and stay operational, even in conditions that would rip a normal dish right off its mount. And that Titan grade protection we talked about, the IP69K, IP68, that means it just shrugs off high-pressure water, fine dust, you name it.
Yeah.
Plus, the temperature range it operates in is massive. From minus 40 degrees Celsius, that's seriously cold, up to plus 60 Celsius, which is incredibly hot. So think about the range there. Ocean yachts battling storms, desert trucks baking in the sun, even research stations near the poles. It's designed for all of it.
Okay, I'm picturing it now. So if someone decides, yes, I need this, what actually comes in the box and how hard is it to set up? Is it a DIY thing or?
It's definitely aimed at a professional installation, but they've made it surprisingly straightforward. Kind of plug and play for the pros. You get the flat Gen 3 antenna itself, naturally. Then there's a sturdy, rack-mountable power supply, AC and DC, which even has diagnostics built in. Get a good long power over Ethernet cable, 25 meters or about 82 feet. That PoE is nice, sends power and data over one cable, simplifies things. Plus power leads, an Ethernet cable, and a full mounting hardware kit with instructions. So pretty comprehensive.
And the mounting itself, is it flexible? Can you stick it just anywhere?
Very flexible. That's another big plus. They offer standard flat surface mounts, wedge mounts if you need an angle, pipe adapters. Those adapters fit the standard Starlink pipe size, which is handy. There are even wall mounts and options for custom enclosures. This adaptability makes it ready for almost anything, complex expedition vehicles, mobile command centers for emergencies. Just one key thing to remember. Because the Gen 3 dish is flat and different, it needs Gen 3 specific mounts. You can't reuse the old Gen 2 ones.
Got it. Different shape, different mounts. Makes sense. Now, we love hearing how this stuff actually works in the wild. Any good real-world stories?
Oh, absolutely. There's a great example of a 160-foot super yacht down in the Caribbean. They installed twin Gen 3 kits, and they paired them with something called an MDS blender. That's basically a smart box that combines the bandwidth from both Starlinks, gives them more speed, and, crucially, backup if one link drops.
Ah, redundancy. Smart.
Exactly. And the result? They're getting rock-solid video calls, stringing shows on multiple devices, all while cruising along at over 22 knots. Think about that. Downloading huge navigation charts, making important calls, no problem, while moving fast, miles from shore. And this particular setup even lets them manage the bandwidth. They can prioritize traffic for critical systems or by user across the whole yacht's network. So this isn't just theory, it's proven tech working right now.
That really paints a picture.
And it's not just yachts, right? This kind of reliable mobile internet is vital for remote construction sites needing live data feeds or video calls, emergency response teams for planning and telemedicine in disaster zones, people living completely off-grid, big trucking fleets for tracking and driver communication, pretty much anyone whose job or passion takes them off the beaten path and needs serious internet.
That yacht example is powerful. So for anyone thinking of investing, the big question is always, how long will this last? Is it future-proof?
That's a fair question. And yes, this kit is definitely built with the future in mind. Longevity and scalability. First off, it's compatible with existing Starlink power and cable systems, which helps with upgrades or integration. And really importantly, it gets firmware updates over the air, directly from SpaceX, OTA updates. That means performance improvements, new features, all pushed out wirelessly. You don't need to physically touch it. And maybe the biggest point, it's designed to be gigabit ready. SpaceX expects to offer gigabit speeds through future satellite network upgrades, maybe by 2026. So the hardware you buy today is built to handle those much faster speeds when they arrive. Your investment stays relevant.
Gigabit speeds. On the move.
Okay. And for listeners who might have the older Gen 2 system, what's the real pull to upgrade to Gen 3? How do they compare side by side? Yeah, good question. Gen 3 is a really significant step up from Gen 2 in several key ways. Design-wise, obviously, it's flat. Lower profile, much less wind resistance than the Gen 2 dish on its pole. Speeds. Gen 3 consistently delivers much higher throughput. We're seeing over 400 Mbps typically, whereas Gen 2 is more like 220 Mbps usually. The field of view, that electronic aiming window, is much wider on Gen 3, 140 degrees. That's a big deal for maintaining signal during movement. Durability gets a boost with that better IP69K rating we mentioned. It handles way higher winds, and you get more mounting options like the wedge and pipe adapters, which Gen 2 didn't really have in the same way. And crucially, only Gen 3 is built to be gigabit ready and gets those ongoing OTA updates for future network enhancements. Gen 2 is kind of locked into its current capabilities.
So quite a few major upgrades then, not just a facelift.
Definitely not just a facelift. In essence, what we've seen today is that the Starlink Performance Gen 3, it really stands out. High speeds, incredibly tough, designed specifically for motion and ready for the future. It truly delivers that high-speed connection that stays locked on, even when you're moving fast in tough places.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening? Well, if you're a pro working in challenging environments, or maybe an explorer pushing the limits, or just someone who refuses to compromise on having solid internet wherever you are, this deep dive shows the Starlink Performance Gen 3 isn't just nice to have. It's really becoming a critical tool. It empowers you to do more from literally anywhere.
And that leads to a pretty interesting thought, doesn't it? We live in a world where being connected all the time is becoming less of a luxury and more of a basic need for safety, for work efficiency, just for staying in touch. So how might this kind of robust, truly mobile satellite internet start to reshape how we think about work, about leisure, even about emergency response in these really remote or dynamic places? It definitely opens up a lot of possibilities to consider. Makes you think,